The SNP's been campaigning hard in Scotland to hang on to their 43 seats in the Commons, but their main rivals are a resurgent Labour Party. But line 1, page 1 of their manifesto is still Scottish independence.
On July the 4th, Independence Day, make sure your voice is heard.
1, 2, 3! SNP!
It's not migration is the problem, it's the fact that we need more people coming in.
Right. Ending austerity.
Conspiracy of silence between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party.
Conspiracy of silence about the realities of their spending.
Conspiracy of silence.
Well, we can talk to Stephen Flynn, who is the party's leader at Westminster. Stephen, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. Now, as we heard there in that short tape, your favourite tactic in this campaign has been to attack Labour and the Tories with that conspiracy of silence. Now, that was a criticism from the independent number crunchers, the IFS, saying that they're not telling the truth about all of their funding plans. But the IFS also has a go at your plans. They say your plans for independence would mean higher borrowing and either significant tax rises or spending cuts if Scotland was independent. What do you say to them on that?
Well, I think what we would, of course, initially say to that is that when we're looking at this general election, there is that conspiracy of silence. There's £18 billion worth of public sector cuts, which are agreed by both the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. That's a choice that they are making at this election. We, of course, oppose that. We believe that there should be investment in our public services, investment in our NHS, and we need to get away from this race to the bottom on austerity that exists in Westminster. It doesn't work. It's broken the fabric of society over the course of the last 14 years. Why Keir Starmer would want to continue with that, knowing the damage it has caused, is beyond me. And that's why we need Scottish National Party MPs in Westminster putting Scotland's interests first. And when it comes to the IFS, I don't know if you noticed, Laura, but they also looked at the SNP manifesto and outlined that the £30 billion which we believe could go back into the Treasury, could be invested into public services as a result of rejoining our friends and neighbours in the European Union, was something which they deemed to be reasonable. Again, the Labour Party don't want to be in the single market, they don't want to be in the customs union, they don't want freedom of movement. We believe in something different, the SNP believes in something different, and that's why the people of Scotland should put their faith in us at this election.
And again, Stephen, as we have with all of our politicians this morning, our viewers want you to address our questions to you, not attack your other opponents, although you can try. The IFS, though, also says about your manifesto, they say you skirt around the issue. If you got independence as you desire, you would have much higher levels of borrowing. And again, they say if you get independence, which you so desire, you would have bigger borrowing and either significant tax rises or significant cuts.
Well, of course, if we were independent, we would be in a situation where we could seek to invest in our economy. We could seek to invest in the net zero transition and allow us to compete with all of those other countries across the world to use our resources for the benefit of the people of Scotland.
But
we'd be able to rejoin that European single
market.
You're
very happy to use the IFS to criticise your rivals with their independent and rigorous analysis. But when they turn the lens on your plans, you dismiss it. I mean, it sounds a bit, you're very happy to dish it out, but not to take it.
I'm not dismissing it at all. They're a respected institution and I'm wholly aware of what they have said. What I'm outlining is how I believe we can do things better and how we can grow our economy. And the way we want to grow our economy is, of course, in stark contrast to the way that the Labour Party and the Conservative Party do at Westminster. As I said, we want to see that investment in net zero. We want to be part of the European single market. We believe, and I was listening to Daisy Cooper there, we believe that migration is unashamedly a good thing. Scotland has a declining working age population. We need more people to come and live and work in Scotland to boost our public sector, but also to allow our businesses to grow and to thrive. Not just our businesses, but our university sector as well, one of the best productivity lines within Scotland. The Westminster consensus on these issues is for that not to happen. Independence affords us the opportunity for that to happen. And when we look at austerity, when we look at Brexit, when we look at the cost of living crisis, all of those issues have been exacerbated or caused by decisions made in Westminster. We believe that decisions for Scotland should be made in Scotland by the people of Scotland. I think that's a good starting point, and ultimately people in Scotland have a decision to make at this election. Do they want to send MPs down to Westminster who'll sit quietly behind Keir Starmer, or do they want to send MPs to Westminster who will stand up to Keir Starmer on austerity, on Brexit, on the cost of living crisis, and of course on big foreign policy issues like Gaza, where of course it was the SNP who have continued to lead the charge for a ceasefire and indeed the recognition of the Palestinian state.
OK, and we'll remind people that nobody knows for sure the result of the election.